I was keeping occupied while on the MTR, scrolling the news on my smartphone, and occasionally looking around to make sure of no imminent dangers, like pickpockets. I suddenly felt the eyes of someone and looked up just when I heard that familiar sound. Chick. You know that sound from a smartphone when a camera just went off. I looked straight into the eyes of a wide-eyed middle-aged Asian male staring right into me. He didn't stop his glare for what seemed like a few long seconds. He had those round, wide eyes of a newborn but open, pointy chin, beak nose, bird-looking. A black smartphone case open angled slightly upwards, and a hole where the camera cut out on the case in black were clearly visible. Did this perv really just take my picture just now? He looked smitten with guilt to me. Dumbfounded, he held really still and held his stare straight into my eyes with his camera poised still with his finger on some trigger as if ready to take another photo. Shit! I just became part of that statistic I read in the newspaper yesterday. There was the sudden distraction of an MTR stop. The momentum of the train stopped with inertia. The doors opened and passengers move across our path of sight. And suddenly I noticed a few seats were emptied next to this birdman. I start to feel my anger beading up slowly, starting to percolate from my chest. Thoughts raced through my mind about a strategy to get even. Should I sit next to him, give him a piece of my mind, call him out on it, make a commotion while striking his camera out of his hands, run away with his phone out onto the next station platform, and get the station policeman to check out his phone for my photo and press charges? No, no, no. Too much hassle. I'll defeat the purpose of anonymity and lose more of my privacy if we end up going to the police station or court. I decisively and quickly moved towards the opposite side of the car out of his view. Oh boy, doing nothing was another statistic. I recall from the article. As I glide across the car, I watch him grin as he looked into his phone, scribbling something. What was Birdman scribbling? I swallowed, while madly imagining him drawing some sort of lewd addition to the photo he took of me. I was clearly out of his line of view by now, so I checked myself once over. Was my button undone? Was more skin showing than I realized? No, thankfully. But there was a lingering feeling of violation of my privacy. I was pretty well covered in a rain jacket, no less, yet I couldn't erase the memory of his dirty little grin. Ugh! Since I wasn't dressed improperly, I wondered if I was too harsh to judge this stranger. After all, I am guilty of taking photos of others randomly when it suits my fancy to capture something interesting, funny, or stupid. Say for example this patron at a Starbucks in TST who may or may not be intentionally wanting to show off his best cheeks. If someone were watching me that day, I might have grinned after capturing this shot on my smartphone and looked down into my phone and tapped things to save it or review it, contemplating to take a better shot if I were unsatisfied with the one I had gotten. Would I have looked like that birdman in that instance too?